Hello everyone. In this video I would like to help you decide whether Sony a7 III is the right travel camera for you. So my story with these Sony cameras started just about 5 months ago. Up until that time I kind of avoided Sony cameras at all simply because I thought that they were ugly, they did not look like cameras. So I stuck to Panasonic and Canon most of the time. And then after hearing all the great things about the Sony A6000 series, I decided to get the Sony A6400. I really liked it. I thought the pictures and the videos were very good, very sharp. And then about 2 months ago, I broke down, and after reading all the rave reviews and watching videos about how wonderful Sony A7 III is, I got myself Sony A7 III as well. And today I would like to talk about the things that I like and also address the common complaints or the common things that people refer to as flaws in order to help you make the right decision for yourself. So I got this camera about 2 months ago, and then I went on a 1-month trip to Spain and Israel. So here are my impressions. The first thing that I absolutely love about this camera is its size and weight. It's so much smaller than the big DSLRs that deliver similar performance, and the importance of this cannot be overstated. The fact that you don't necessarily need a dedicated bag, you can put it in your backpack. The fact that you can hold it at a concert, and I'm going to talk more about concerts later. The fact that you can hold it like this for much longer than a typical DSLR, this makes a huge difference. So that's the first thing that I liked. The second thing that I absolutely love is the battery life. I'm used to constantly looking at the indicator of the battery. I'm used to carrying extra batteries with me. The moment I started using this camera, I realized that I wouldn't be able to deplete the battery in a day even if I wanted to. So I stopped carrying extra batteries with me. It simply became not necessary. And this is just such a big thing. It provides such a peace of mind. And on the same note, I love the fact that you can charge this camera with both USB and USB-C cable. I happen to use Pixel phone, and the fact that I can use the same charger, the same phone charger to charge camera is so convenient and so great. The pictures are super sharp, the videos are super sharp. I kind of expected that, so that's not a huge surprise. Dynamic range. These words meant nothing to me until I got this camera. And when I saw that there is a totally different quality that you can have in your pictures and videos when you take shots and when you make videos during the sunset time, and when you can actually capture what's going on in the shaded area rather than have them look completely dark like it was happening with all my other cameras, I really started appreciating the performance of this camera. And if you're into taking pictures and making videos during dusk or during dawn, and if you like sunset type of photography, if you like making videos right before the sun goes down or in this early evening, early darkness, there's probably no better camera right now. I had GH5. This camera is markedly better for low light conditions than GH5. I also had Panasonic G9. This camera is still better than even Panasonic G9 when it comes to low light. So if low light is important to you, and to me it's important because I like the sunset type photography, and I also like videotaping concerts, so this camera is an excellent solution for that. The other thing that makes this camera excellent for recording concerts is its excellent focus. You know, most cameras hunt in the dark. When you direct your camera at the stage, they start hunting, going in and out. With this camera, with face tracking function, you can just lock on one of the artists, one of the musicians on the stage, and you don't need to worry about focus. So that, plus the weight of the camera, plus the quality, the low light performance, and dynamic range make this an excellent camera for recording concerts and for recording all kinds of things in low light or poor light conditions. Let's talk about the things that people usually complain about. So, number one, of course, no fully articulated screen. All you can do is pull out a screen like this, and that's about it. Now, it should not be a surprise to you. When you get this camera, you should know that. And frankly, this type of camera would be an overkill for vlogging, for videotaping yourself. Even though this camera is lighter than some other cameras, still for carrying a camera in front of you and videotaping, you should get something smaller, lighter, and also probably cheaper. What I like about the screen is that, again, it fits perfectly for concerts. If you want to record something above you, then you can simply go like this and you can see what's going on. You can see what's going on by bringing the screen down. Not the best solution in the world, but it's something. The other thing that people complain about is that this camera comes without charger. It's true, you can use a phone cable to charge it, and I don't think it's a big deal because for 30-40 bucks you can get a charger with maybe an extra battery on Amazon. It would be nice if Sony included a charger. They probably wanted to keep the price as low as possible, so they didn't do it. I don't think it's a deal breaker by any means. The other thing that people complain about is that the SD cards go in the wrong way, and some people think it's a nuisance. I don't think it's a big deal at all. I am not sure which way would be better, to go like this or to go the other way around. I frankly don't know what difference it makes to people and why some people make any type of deal out of it. Of course, many people complain that the lenses are expensive. Yes, Sony G Master lenses are expensive. They go to $1,000, $1,500, or $2,000. For me, it wasn't a problem because I think that for amateur or even an advanced amateur photographer, a kit lens that comes with this camera is good for many situations. I also got a 50mm 1.8 lens, which only costs a couple of $100, and I think between these two lenses, it covers me pretty well, at least for now, especially because this camera has an internal 6x zoom, so if you need a close-up, there's an internal option to increase the zoom. So I have a hard time justifying spending $1,500 on the lens. If I'm not a pro, I don't use it for work. But if that's a concern, that's something you should know. I think as a traveler, between 28-70 lens and 50mm lens with large aperture, you should be well covered. So these are the typical flaws that I hear about. I don't think they're a big deal at all, unless you're a pro or unless you really want to use this camera for vlogging, for constantly videotaping yourself, then this might not be the best camera for you. Otherwise, if you're videotaping other things when you travel and not yourself, this is an excellent camera. This is an excellent solution. Now, one big question you may ask yourself, well, so which camera am I getting, 6400 or A7iii? A6400 is an excellent camera, but if you can cough up just a little bit more money, I do not see a reason why you should not be getting A7iii. And here is one. You get full frame, you get slightly better performance, you get a significantly better performance in low light, and maybe not so significantly better performance in normal light conditions. You have more functionality. You have more pro-type options here and more pro-type functions in this camera. And what is the downside of getting A7iii? It's not like by getting A6400 or any other A6000 series camera, you are getting a pocket camera that you can put in your pocket. These cameras are of a comparable size. Yes, A7iii is a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier, but in the end, it's not going to make that much of a difference. You cannot put either of them in a pocket. But you get so much more here for not that much more money. So if you can, go for quote-unquote the real thing and don't scheme, especially if you're into low-light photography. One more thing, one more concern I want to talk about, which is probably common with all the Sony cameras, is that a lot of people complain that the menus are complicated. I didn't think they were too bad at all. Yes, there are a lot of functions, there are a lot of options and drop-down menus, but after tinkering with it for about half an hour, I got around to it, I figured out how it works, and I think within 20-30 minutes you're going to know how to use most of the functions that you care about. There's no reason to be intimidated by the menus in either of these cameras. It's not that big a deal, and that should not stop you from getting this camera. So here's my conclusion. Get the A7 III, cough up a little bit more money, get the real thing. I have zero regrets about getting this camera. I don't know anybody who got Sony A7 III and didn't think it was a great camera. The only advantage of the 6000 series that I can think of is that the lenses are probably cheaper. You can get a larger zoom lens for much less money. If that's very important to you, that you might want to look at the 6000 series or look at even super zoom cameras. You don't get Sony A7 III for its super zoom abilities. You get it for excellent picture and video quality. You get it for amazing focus, which 6000 also has, and above all, you get it for the low light performance. So I hope this helps you make your decision, and if you get either of these cameras, please share with me how you make the decision, why you made that decision, which camera you got, and how you like it so far. Thank you.